In the last 3.5 years, I've worked with over 200 real estate agents, and in that time, I've analyzed, dissected, and tested almost every type of method available online on how to generate consistent and predictable listing opportunities. The 7 strategies that I'm going to show you today are the ones we've seen work most reliably across all kinds of different markets. And I'm going to give you this simple step-by-step guide on how to actually apply these to your real estate business today to generate more listing opportunities and appointments so you can increase your listing volume. Now, in case you're wondering who I am, my name is Aidan Jefferson, and I'm the founder of Generatelistings, where we build custom marketing systems for real estate professionals to help them generate consistent opportunity flow so they're no longer just reliant on their referrals. So let's dive into the guide and the step-by-step process for exactly how this works. So this is the full step-by-step guide we've put together on the 7 best ways to actually attract new listing leads today. This is for real estate professionals that want to get more consistent, predictable business, put systems in place to do that in a very simple way. Now, pretty much where this came about was for out of every 100 real estate agents I would speak to that we'd work with, 99 of them would tell me that the biggest obstacle to growing their business further is simply they need more qualified leads. And when they talk about leads, what they really mean is getting people that they can speak to and getting their foot in the door, right? So these are the 7 best ways that can help you get more leads fast and without hassle, so you can build a robust pipeline of new listings and really move on from just having those feast and famine cycles that we're seeing all the time. Now, if you saw the quick start guide video, I also mentioned that these are really potent, some of these strategies, so do not try to run them all at once. Pick 1 or 2 and ideally choose one of the social media stuff, choose one of the strategies, either number 1, number 3, or number 4. You'll obviously have access to this document below in the description of this video, so you can go in there and you can actually get access to this. I'm actually going to give you that for free. Let's dive in and go over exactly how this works. So the first thing here is running price update ads on social media. So we can see a bit of an example of what this can look like, and I've actually got a template here for you as well, and we can go over exactly how to set this up. But whilst a lot of people, they think that this style of ad doesn't work anymore, or it's old hat, it's overused, whatever that means, right? The truth is these still work extremely well for generating more appraisals and more valuations. Now, these are absolutely one of the best ways to get your feet in more doors and just start getting more consistent appointments happening with homeowners. So they work because they're an evergreen offer, and essentially we're giving people value, because when we're talking about from a real estate sense, we're either giving value by helping homeowners get an idea for where their property sits within the market, or showing them how they can actually increase the value of their property or make it sell faster. So these are really the only ways that we can provide value to a homeowner, is giving them a better gauge for the market itself or actually helping them increase the value of their property before they are looking to sell, are really the 2 main ways. So this is always going to be an evergreen offer that's going to work if we do it the right way. So really the concept of this strategy with price updates, it comes down to ultimately we need to understand that approximately only 3% of the market at any given point in time have complete clarity and knowledge that they need to sell their home right now. And the rest of them are just potential sellers first, and they need to become armed with the right information in order to actually understand where their property truly sits in the market and whether it even makes sense for them to sell or not, and what the timeframes would be around that. And once they can get an idea for where their property sits and how it fits within the overall market, not just what they've heard on the media, then they have a much better gauge for when they are actually selling. And then you as an agent know exactly where they sit, and you can nurture them until they're at that point and nurture them in a way your competitors aren't, and you can get that listing. And obviously we're having these conversations with enough people, we're going to get the results that we want, right? Because we're going to have people on different time frames. So with these ads, we're going to be tapping into the wider market, getting in front of as many homeowners in the specific farm areas that you guys are kind of going over, because no agent, is going to become successful going after only 3% of the market. because that's the 3% that know right now they want to sell, right? We can't compete on 3%. We need to build a bigger pipeline, and price update ads and just getting in more doors is going to help us do that, and going to help with both now business, but a lot of it is going to be 90 days. It's going to be 6 months, whatever that looks like. But if we having enough conversations, having enough appointments, we're going to get, we're going to have that consistency in our pipeline, right? And these are one of the best ways that I've seen to do that. So remember, you're the expert here. So we want to be getting people that are putting their hand up, wanting your advice. And this is the purpose of these ads. So the way I like to set these ads up is basically with this strategy, we're running them on social media. So Facebook, Instagram primarily. And this can help us deliver an extra 20 to 40 new listing leads a month on about a $33 a day ad budget. So on the ads manager, you're running about a $33 a day ad budget. And we want to be running these, local, geographically bound to your target area that you're living in. And we do this through the business suite by actually going into the Meta business suite and setting this up. Now, the business suite itself, how to create an account if you don't have one. It's most likely if you're watching this that you probably do. If you don't have an account for the Meta business suite, then there's plenty of articles online on how to set up an account, and you just link it to your Facebook profile. But I'm just going to jump into the actual Meta business suite itself and go over how you can actually set up this first style of ad. But I do have some, basically to actually set it up, you go to business.facebook.com, you'll be able to go in there, log in, and once you're inside, you're going to have a dashboard that looks a little bit like this. So let me quickly go back. So I'm going to go into one of these accounts here. Cool. So I'm actually in our business account right now. So business account, we can see this kind of side dashboard here. Now, normally when you sign in, it's going to take you to obviously this main account overview page, and then we're going to have this view on the side. So the place we really want to be is the business setting, and go to the actual ads manager here that we can see on the guide. So I'm going to go into the ads manager, right? I'm just going to follow the steps in this blueprint that you guys are going to have access to on exactly how to set this up. So we're in the ads manager, and now we want to start to build our first price update ad, so we can start getting in more doors, having people inquiring that want to find out what their property is worth in your market. So we're actually going to go in, we're going to click create to set up a new campaign. Now, from here, the easiest way to set these up for you would be going into leads, clicking the leads objective, and we're actually going to select a manual leads campaign. This is how I like to set it up. And now we can actually go through and we can name our campaign. So I've got in this document, I've got exactly how to set up the naming and everything. It doesn't matter too much, but let's say Aidan Jefferson, this is my appraisals campaign. If you're in a country and you don't call them appraisals in your country, then obviously you can call it price update, you can call it whatever you like, but it's the 23rd of the 3rd of 24. Cool. And that's how I like to set it up. We can see how we've initially set it up, manual leads. I like it. So easiest way is using what we call advantage campaign budget. So basically that's what we see here on the campaign level of the ads. So when we're setting up ads for the first time, we have a campaign level here. Inside the campaign, we have ad sets, and inside the ad sets, we have specific ads, which actually are what have the images or the videos that the target client's actually going to see, right? Whereas the ad set is the audiences that we're getting in front of is going to be on the ad set level, and then we actually have the campaign level where that just houses it. We set our budget on this. Well, we can set the budget on this level, which is what we're going to do here. So we're going to select this Advantage campaign budget. We're going to turn that on. And now we're going to set our daily budget. So I'm setting that at $33 a day. You can set it at somewhere between $20 and $33 a day if you're in a metropolitan area and you want to kind of get those type of results that we went over, the 30 to 40 leads a month or 20 to 40 leads a month. If you're in Sydney, Melbourne, another big city anywhere in the world, you probably want to be spending at least around this. This is obviously Australian dollars, so you can kind of convert that to your local currency. So I'm going $33 a day in this case, and we can leave all of that the same. You can click next, right? So we're going to click next. Now we're going to name this ad set. So now we've got the ad set level. We're going to just call this primary markets, because I'm just going to do a more open ad set where we target all of these types of markets in a very broad sense. So I've got primary markets here. Instant forms and messenger. So I've got whatever page that I've selected here. This is all correct. Yeah, so we go instant forms, sorry. So we want to go instant forms. So instant forms, and obviously make sure we have the correct Facebook page selected. So in this case, I've just got my page selected. And then we get to our actual audience here. So this is the audience that we're targeting. So the simplest way to set up the targeting for ads is what we call open targeting. So we're basically targeting the individual suburbs or individual neighborhoods that you want to target. Now, if you're in the US and Canada, sometimes you will have to do this on a minimum 15-mile radius or 25-kilometer radius. However, with some of these seller ads, we can get around that if we just request a review and we just change the wording a little bit. So it's obviously we're not actually selling housing to people. We're basically getting a kind of consultation around the value of their home. So we sometimes can actually get around that special ad category. But if you are in the US and Canada, you want to stay safe, then you can run it in the special ad category. But if you're from a lot of other countries, like here, we don't have to do that. So we can just target the actual individual suburbs and neighborhoods individually. So the way I would do this is I'm going to first set up my locations. So we're going to go Surfers Paradise. Yeah, so we can see here, I'm going to go very specific areas. Say these are my farm areas. I'm going to go here, set, and then I'm going to drop a pin over the top of it. So I just click drop pin, drop it exactly where that suburb was. We go 1 kilometer, and I'm going to see if that kind of covers that area. It's probably not quite, so I'm probably going to go 2 kilometers for that, make it a little bit wider. Now that's probably going to cover Surfers Paradise a bit more. I'm going to delete this one. Now I'm going to go main beach, because I want to get this one just here. Not sure what that's doing, but we can see it here. So I might just drop a pin manually, and that's not a very big one. So going to go 1 kilometer. Yep. And then I'm also going to get Southport here, try to cover all of that. So these are going to be my 3 farm areas that I want to focus on. So I'm going to set, for this one, I'm going to set a 2 kilometer radius there as well. And now my ads are going to be targeting this geographic area. Scroll down. Yep. minimum age. So this is where we get to the actual age parameters. Now, I like to set this to a minimum age of 30 plus because they're the ones that are actually likely to be homeowners. I think, yes, a minimum age, they only allow me to do 25 now with the new settings on Facebook. So we're gonna go minimum age of 25. Now I would run to both genders and have automatic placements on. So we can see this advantage plus placements is what they call it now. So leave this on, that's fine. You can leave this, we don't need to do anything with that. And now we can go next, and that's going to take us to the actual ad level itself. So on the ad level, I'm just going to call this ad 1, just to keep it really simple. So that's how we've named the ad. Now we're going to see that this page, and it should be linked to an Instagram account. Now in this case, it's not, so it's just going to say use selected page. Otherwise, you just have to click here and connect your Instagram account. So this is what you have to do in that case. Go in there, link your Instagram account if you want it to go across both. This can still appear on Instagram, but it would just appear as from your Facebook page as opposed to the Instagram account. So that's how to do that. Now, when we get into the, we've selected that, and now we want to, on the ad level is where we actually create our, what we call our primary text, the headline and the description. So we can see we set our single image or video. We select the primary text, which is the text that appears on the ad, the headline and the description, as well as a call to action. So I normally turn off this. You can turn that off. It doesn't matter too much though. So now we can go in here and we can add our text. Now I've got templates ready to go. So this is a proven template we've seen perform in almost all types of markets. And this is actually a template that our team created back in June 2022, but has since been replicated by every marketer under the sun. Now, the good news is that despite this, it still works extremely well in most markets. That's why people use it. That's why people have replicated it, because it does work so well. So don't worry if you've seen something similar like this around. If you follow the steps here, you will get results. So you can just go in here and you can change the colors to your brand. You can change the aerial image to your local market, so it's area specific, right? So this is the template here. Oh, and I'll have to get that up because I'm currently signed in on a different browser window. So I'll bring that up in a second, but we can see here, this is where we actually add the ad creative in the ad media. Okay, so we've just got our template here for the search bar creative that I've given you access to. You can see there's a couple variations that you can use with different colors. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to use template. So you click use template for new design. So I've given you this template. You go click use template for new design. Now I'm just going to do a really, really basic one with these couple here. So obviously I'm doing an ad for Gold Coast. So I've got a couple different Gold Coast suburbs in there for the area that I'm targeting. So I'm going to put how is your Gold Coast? And I'm going to go Gold Coast suburb owners. Now, and this one we also have to change it in a few different places. Just going to copy paste that. So really there's two main creatives that we can use for this one. Gold Coast, Gold Coast, Gold Coast, very good. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to download those couple. Go JPEG. And so these two here are going to be the two that I'm going to use for my ads. So again, just go through, brand it to yourself, obviously change the aerial photo as well. You can delete that and replace it with another aerial. But something like this in terms of the creative is going to work really well. So, but again, obviously each market can be a little bit different there as well. So I'm going to go in here and now I can add my media. So in this case, this is the ad that I'm adding. So I'm going to upload. the search. Yeah, so there's one, and there's a couple others. Yeah, so these are the two that I created. I'm going to upload these to Facebook. So I can only select one for the first one. So I'm going to go original, make sure you have original here for the crop. Go down, and there we go. So we've got our ad set up here. Now for the primary text, we've got the templates below. So we can actually go through and use the templates here. Through primary text, insert that in there, insert our headline. So again, just use the templates that I've provided you, and this is going to enable you to set this up. And now for the actual description, which is your property worth, we're going to put that in there as well. And the call to action is going to be learn more, right? So learn more is pretty much always the best call to action that we have found. Cool. Now we've got our ads. The other thing that I would do here as well is we just need to set up a lead form. So this is where we're going to collect the contact information. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to keep the date the same. I'm just going to say appraisal form, and whatever you want to name it, right? Just create that form. When we go to intro, I normally remove the intro. And I just go straight to the questions here, right? So go there, create form, more volume, and I remove that. So we can also add the custom question here. So where it says custom questions at the top, we can actually add in a multiple choice question, which is how soon to sell. And normally I give them a few different options. So I say now, 1 to 3 months. 3 to 6 months. 12 months. 12 months plus. Or like sometimes you can just have just curious. So we can use that in the custom field questions. Now here, I normally go for the description. You'll see I've got so normally I'll go and put in fill in your details below to find out the true value of your property. So go there, contact field. So you want full name, email, phone number. You want street address, because how are you going to be able to give them a valuation on their property without a street address? So that's typically almost the first one that we do. So you'll see here on the guide, it says that we want first name, full name, street address, email, and phone number, and then that time frame question there as well. So that's the first step. Now we can go to the privacy policy. Now here you will have to add some sort of privacy policy to this. Facebook requires it. So I'll just say privacy policy and link text. We're just going to have to add in some sort of privacy policy. So you can see here, like I'm just going to put in our privacy policy from our company website. Just going to scroll down, see policy, and I'm going to take this link. So you do the same, just go to your website, plug in that privacy policy. I'm plugging that in here. and the message. Then we got the message for the leads to set up that lead form. So here it's just going to say, we'll be in touch with your valuation. So our team will be in touch to ensure we have all information we need to give you possible. Yeah, so something like that is what we can put in here. And now on the website link, you can actually send this to a booking page, so they can actually book an appraisal directly. You're not going to see a large amount of people book directly, as most people will just inquire, and there'll be a bit too much friction for them to book. But if you do get a booking, that's like a bonus. Anyone that comes through these types of ads, we should be calling, having a conversation with, using it as a conversation starter, because this is kind of the first step for someone that is going to look to eventually sell their property, is first getting engaged in the market, as I mentioned to you before. So really this is what we want to do here as well, is we can either go link, or you can just link this to your website, or even call the business directly. So I'm just going to go view website. I'm just going to put mine in there. Actually, I'm going to actually put that as the booking page. So this is what you can do if you have a booking page. I'm going to go claim your market. And we can see this has the actual calendar on it. So you can do that. Let's go to the link. And we can just change the call to action text, which is the button here. Book, all caps, book a call. Now, book, or for you it would be book appraisal now as an agent, or book valuation. So I'm going to go create form, right? And now we've got our form attached, and we've created our first lead generation ad, right? So this is fully set up. Now we have our first lead generation ad. Now the other thing I would do is I'll normally duplicate this ad here where it says add one. I'll click the three dots and I'll go quickly duplicate, and I'm going to add in that second different ad variant that we just created. So I'm going to clear this and go add media, add image. I'm going to add that second one in. I'm going to leave the rest the exact same. You'll see it has the same copy, has that same lead form, but it just has a slightly different creative. And now we'll be able to run this. If we click publish, it's going to publish this, and then we'll be able to set these ads live and start bringing in our first leads. So that is how the price update ad works. Now, to actually get access to those leads, just so you know, you're going to have to go into what they call the lead center. So you can either get these sent directly to a spreadsheet with some external automations using a tool like Zapier or Make, or you can go directly to the lead center within Facebook. Yeah, so to find this, I've actually gone down to the bottom where they've got this magnifying glass. I'm just going to go lead center, because sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to find. And now you'll see it says how to manage your leads in lead center. Download your leads from the lead center. It will send us a link, and that will show you how to actually get access to the leads until you're able to actually set up some custom automations and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully that all makes sense. That is the first lead generation strategy from this guide. Now, if you actually want our help in setting up systems and more robust systems across everything, then you can actually get in touch with our team. But this is the first strategy that we actually go over with you, and how to set up a price update ad. Now you know, and we can now move on to the next strategy. All right, so the second lead gen strategy in this guide is not a digital one, and this is one of the only ones that isn't digital. And basically that's because I wanted to mix it up, and I wanted to show you guys a way of doing letterbox drops or doing flyer drops that actually works, right? And this was a strategy. This isn't my strategy. All rights to this go to Ferry. He taught this strategy of his what I would call a price update flyer drop strategy, and basically this is going to help get us in more doors with people that are directly responding, because we're providing them with that value of people that just want to know what their home's worth. They don't want all the marketing, they don't want all the promotion, they just want to get the value and understand where their property sits in the market, and that's why this works so well. So we can see here, this is actually from his direct slides at ARIC 2023 that he did on the Gold Coast, that he was teaching to some different agents. This is where I got this from, and we can see that it, like any flyer drop strategy, we really want to be doing enough volume to be making it worthwhile. But we can see, with this one, they did these just plain orange flyers with the QR code to the home value, and we can see they had 10,000 delivered, 266 responses, 92 contacts, 6 appointments, and 3 listings. So if we even wanted to get just an additional listing a month, we could be sending 3,300 a month type of thing, and it's going to get us in a lot more doors. Obviously here they got in a lot of doors. So overall across this campaign, he did these black ones, these orange ones for this particular client. They had 10 listings and 2 buyer deals. But the way most people do letterbox drops, they don't get a whole lot out of it. It's more like an awareness thing for a lot of agents, whereas this, we're getting that direct response back, and it is a form of direct response marketing, but just done in more of a physical direct mail sense. So again, this is from the slides that he took from ARIC 2023. Now, whilst the majority of the strategies that I recommend are digital, this one isn't, as I mentioned before. And the purpose of these is to be able to provide value to that community and start just having more of these conversations with the homeowners in your farm area. So the way these are created, and we can see from the examples above, we've got our own template here that you'll be able to get access to as well in this guide. But we can see it's literally plain, plain orange, has the name of the agency or the agent at the bottom with the number to get in touch with them, and then you need to link up a QR code. So you're going to have to create your own QR code. Canva does have an inbuilt QR code generator, and then link that to a particular website where they can actually get their home's value, or they can book a time for an appraisal, something like that. It redirects them to where we want them to be. We could say it just says check your home's valued here. So really the only purpose of this is to provide value to the community, start having more conversations with more homeowners in the farm areas that we're focusing on. And really from here, we're going to be able to get in more doors. We're going to be able to start more conversations. And as we can see, it's all about volume here. This is a strategy. You're going to be able to get access to this exact QR code flyer drop template. So you can go to your local office store that does printing, get these printed out in some sort of colored cardboard, something like that. You can obviously change the color, edit the template, make it however you want it. Tom recommends doing this in as simpler format as possible, because we really just want to be focused on the value and not on just promoting ourselves constantly. That's the purpose of these. It's not a branding exercise. It's more of a direct response exercise to provide value to people and get our feet in more doors. So this is the letterbox drop strategy. So go in there, check that out. That is exactly how that works. So part 3 out of the 7 lead generation strategies that we're going over, and this is our dynamic suburb report campaign. So some of you might be doing suburb reports or neighborhood reports that you're using, that you're giving to people on an at-needed basis. Maybe you have tried, giving them to people on ads, and they haven't performed really well. Well, this is our exact strategy that we know works, amazing in all kinds of different types of areas and markets for actually getting people downloading it that have that potential interest in selling or looking at really what they can be doing with their property in their market. So we can see, in a bit of an example of what this type of ad, looks like. Very simple, very simple, very similar to the price update ads that we ran in LeadGen Strategy 1. But here we're really focusing on, still how much is your home worth, but again, they're getting access to, in this case, this is a US client, so they're getting access to a neighborhood report. So it's an instantly downloadable report. And here we're actually giving the value up front. So they're able to actually click on it, just fill in their information and instantly download that report. And then from there, our sales process, we can follow up on the people that have downloaded that report, and find out what interested them about the report, why they were looking to get access to it, if they had any questions about it. And it's a really good conversation starter that can lead to us getting more appraisals or getting to that next step in the process of working with these homeowners and getting to eventually listing more properties with people in our farm areas, right? So that's how these work. We call these dynamic because we have a very unique way of doing these, where we actually can have one big document or one big PDF that's dynamic, and we can actually click on the specific neighborhood, and that person can click on the specific neighborhood, which takes them to the specific suburb report, and then they can go to another one, and they can do this all within the same dynamic document. Now that's a little bit outside the scope of this video, because really I just want to go over how you can actually set this strategy up and how it actually works. And really this is going to lead to a major influx of potential opportunities. And we can see here, so this is a dynamic document that we created for one of our done for you clients. As part of our process, we will set up more sophisticated stuff like this. So it'll be in a dynamic digital PDF, and then that homeowner can actually select that specific suburb for themselves, and then that's going to link to the appropriate suburb report based off where they click on this actual report that we see here. So for instance, it could feature, for example, Surfers Paradise, Broad Beach, and Palm Beach. And if they were to select Surfers Paradise, it would then dynamically take them to the specific suburb report and data for Surfers Paradise. So yeah, we can see that here, which is pretty nifty. But again, as I mentioned, for simplicity's sake, you can use whichever default suburb reports that your own internal agency or brokerage software generates for you. So whether you're using RP Data, whether you're using Realtair or another tool that does something like this, most agencies do have a way to instantly generate reports. So you can just get these, and then you can link them to the end of the lead form, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that as well. And basically, from there, they'll be able to go onto that thank you page on the lead form. So similar to how we set up the first price update ads, we're just going to go through, and instead of them having a booking page at the end, we can just have this download for the instantly downloadable guide. And yeah, just adding that PDF file as an attachment on the last step of the lead form. So on that thank you page of the lead form, as we went over in step 1 and that lead generation strategy 1. And it's also worth mentioning here that a really well put together follow-up and nurture sequence to ensure that they've actually received that suburb report is pretty important when it comes to really maximizing our conversion rates and the response rates. But again, the setup for that is going to be outside the scope of this guide, and it's going to require multiple softwares and a more complicated setup. And we can see here with this client, this is some of the follow-up that we've set up for one of our done for you clients. This is an automatic sequence. We can also have AI follow up on it in more advanced setups. But here I've basically given you the same as in our first lead generation strategy that we went over. We actually have the entire ad copy, headline, description, call to action, and the initial creative template that you can go in and use. So I've basically made it as simple as possible for you. And we can see, again, budget's going to be very similar to that first social media strategy we went over. So we want to be running these ads on a minimum of $20 to $33 a day for best results. And that is also going to depend on your market, the lead costs. We've seen them hover somewhere from $5 all the way up to $30 per lead in the short term. So let's dive into exactly how to set this up. So this, if we go into our campaign here, so this is the one we set up for our price update ad. We can see we set it up on the campaign level. So we went in here, we created a new campaign. And basically that took us to here where we set up our daily budget of $33 a day. We selected leads, so we had access to the lead form, and we turned on Advantage campaign budget. So we selected on there, and then we were able to go to the ad set level where again, we made sure instant forms were selected. I named the ad set primary markets, which was targeting just the specific markets that I wanted to target, and had our performance goal maximize number of leads. I selected the Facebook page that I wanted it to run from, and we can see that Facebook page is there. And then I scroll down. Obviously I can change the schedule for the run time, but we can also see the actual audience controls. So this is where I actually set the initial location. So if I was to go through and show you how to do this again for setting up these Suburb report campaigns, we're basically going through, and in this case, so we go through, we can see main beach. So in this case, I want to target the suburbs, or my farm areas in this case are Southport, Main Beach, and Surfers Paradise in Queensland. So I really want to set radius circles that are big enough to cover that entire place. Now, in this case, because we're doing suburb reports, we really want this to probably be suburb specific. So instead of last time when I was running this as a primary markets, I'm actually going to do one, let's say I'm just targeting Surfers Paradise. So I'm creating that ad set for Surfers Paradise, and I'm selecting again instant forms, so this should all be the same. But then when we actually get to, so when we go down to the actual targeting on the ad set level, so unlike last time where we selected all of those together, in this case I just want to do Surfers Paradise and in Queensland, Australia. So we're going to go Surfers Paradise neighborhood. Now we can see it's kind of pinpointed this. This isn't how I like to set it up, so I'm actually going to just drop a pin next to that, and then I'm going to delete this, and I'm just going to use this radius circle. Surfers is quite a large suburb, so I'm going to go about 2 kilometers, and that should cover. It goes in a little bit to bundle, so it depends if you care if it overlaps a little bit into nearby suburbs. Generally, if you can service those areas, it shouldn't matter too much. You'll probably still, it's not going to affect our ads very much. Otherwise, you can go really define and do a 1 kilometer radius. So I think that's better because we can still see the estimated audience size is still quite large. So 52,000 to 61,000. So I'm probably just going to run with a 1 kilometer radius. And now I've got my Surfers Paradise ad set here. So that's the first thing, is we've got our audience set up. We've got Advantage Plus placements on. So from there, we can actually move on to the ads level. So we can see these are the ones that we use for the price update ads in strategy 1. Now here, I basically am going to use all of the assets I've got available. We've got the creative template that we're going to use here. I'm just going to go use template for new design. So you're going to have access to that. You'll be able to see the exact same template in the doc when you go through it. And we're going to use this, and we're just going to change the colors to your brand colors. So again, I'm literally just going to pretend that I'm doing it for myself. So I'm going to make this our colors, generate listings. I'm going to do that dark navy. How much is your home worth? And this is going to be Surfers Paradise. So this is really as easy as it is. Go in here, customize this. Obviously you can change the fonts or do whatever you want with it, or adjust it a little bit, however that works. Again, I'm not making sure this is super perfect. And then sub out those properties. So I can kind of delete that and go into here and put in the specific property that I want. So actually I can just do that by just dragging and dropping. Now, of course, this isn't the actual property that I want. Basically, we can go through, edit that up. Again, I'm going to go back, change this to our colors, change that one there to our brand colors that I've got in my color palette here. So go text white. I just want to change this color. Yeah. And now I've got a matching template. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to download this template. So JPEG, PNG, doesn't really matter what you download it as, so download that. And we're going to be able to use this template for our ads. So in this case, I've literally just got the one template here, so I'm going to go to add one. Delete this one that we used before, but again, I can just use this existing campaign that I built out and just duplicate it, edit it. So that's an easy way to create ads if you already have an existing campaign that you've been running. So in this case, I'm just going to go in here, I'm going to add image, and then I'm going to upload it from my computer. Yep, and there's my creative. I'm going to upload that. Cool, I'm going to select that, and then it's going to take us here. We're just going to quickly make these all original so it all fits the frame. We can see that's all fitting the frame. We can move on. So now we've got our creative. Now we can plug in our new text that we're using for this ad. Copy that. Copy that. Again, substitute that for our Suburb text. So then this is just a really easy one that you can use. Homeowners. Yeah. And make sure you read it through to make sure it all sounds right for your market. So this is 2024 now, so I need to update that. This is Paradise Suburb report, download today. Okay, so we're going there. We're going to input our headline, free instant Suburb report. So keeping it pretty simple. And do you know what your home's worth? So that's got the same description. We can leave that there. And yeah, call to action. You can either use learn more, or you can actually use a download call to action. Normally I'll keep it just learn more basically. And now from here, I'm going to set up the lead form pretty much the exact same way as this one. So this is the appraisal form that we used before. How soon are you looking to sell? And full name, street address, email, phone number. And then it's got submit, and then it's got the thank you page on the back end. So I'm going to use this, but I'm just going to duplicate, and I'm just going to edit a couple things. I'm going to call this. So if you're going through this guide, you've probably watched video 1 in this series, and that obviously goes over the price update ads, how to set up these forms initially. So you already have a lead form set up, and you'll just be able to duplicate and just create a new one for this type of ad. So you can learn how this process works. So I'm just going to go through and say Suburb report, or it could be neighborhood report if you don't really call them suburbs where you're watching this. More volume. We're not really using the intro, so we can just kind of skip that. Questions. We can see how soon are you looking to sell. We've already got that set up. So basically the way you'd set that up is you go multiple choice custom question in the custom question section, put in the question 1, how soon are you looking to sell, and then make the answers now, 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, 12 months plus, and just curious. So that's how I've set this up. And then in the pre-fill questions, this here, we need to go, I've just put in the description, fill in your details below to find out the true value of your property, and then made it so it's full name, street address, email, and phone number. So that's what the person fills in. And then the privacy policy, again, link that to your company's privacy policy. I've just taken this off our website and our privacy policy here, which we can see at the bottom. I've literally just taken this and I've copied and pasted that into the privacy policy here, and then the link text I've just got a privacy policy. But you will need that to run this, and then message for leads. So this is the thank you page that we can see. So we want to set it up like what we saw here, where it just says thanks, you're all set. So I'm just going to make it the same. Thanks, you're all set. Just click download to get your instant copy today. So just click download to get your instant copy today. So we've got that. And then we're going to go view file. So now we can actually import our PDF guide. So obviously you just have this ready here, and I'm just going to go download, put it all in caps as the text, and then I'm actually able to put in that PDF. So again, click add media, go in there. I'm just going to go report. So then again, this is not my Suburb report. This is actually just something I downloaded off the internet, but we can see it says Queensland Property Market Report. So again, find the file that you're using, whether you've gotten that from something you've downloaded from an RP Data, a Realtor, one of those different types of softwares, or something your agency already has a generator for. Or obviously, you can work with us and we can help you build out all of these assets. But for the sake of this video, you should have kind of something that you can use, or an ability to create that. Most agencies or brokerages have something for creating suburb or neighborhood reports. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to make that, upload that. And now we can see they're actually going to get instant download, and they click that download button on the call to action. And now I can go create form. And perfect. Now we've got our first, instant form suburb report ad. We can see that here. We can see the full ad, and we can see it's linked to that form. So from here we can publish, and we're going to be able to run it for that area. In this case, I'm actually going to delete this second ad because I don't have a second variation. If I wanted to make a really quick second variation, I'd probably just, for you guys, because I'm just trying to make it super simple, just providing a simple ad that we know works, we can just reverse the order of the colors here to create a second variation, or you can just do different properties on the template as well. But for here, I'm just going to reverse that, and then I'll download that as well. And I'm just going to do page 2 download, and now I can actually create a different variation. So I'm not going to delete it anymore. I'm actually going to go through. Actually, I might delete it just so I can. Just because I want to duplicate ad 1, because if I just go quickly duplicate here, click the 3 dots, quickly duplicate, we can see it's saved everything from the first ad with all the ad copy and stuff that we want. So that makes our life a bit easier. So now I'm going to call that ad 2, and I'm just going to remove that and just add the media that I want. So I'm just going to add that new image in, that new image variation that we just created. So there we go. Now we get the orange headline one, we've got our navy headline one, and just simple variation of the same thing. Again, select original, done. And there we go. We've got our second variation. Nothing else needs to change. Go into the same lead form. It's got the same ad copy, and that's our first ad set, which we've created for Service Paradise. And we've got this on a $33 budget going to our instant suburb report. So from here, I'm going to actually duplicate this into 2 other ad sets. So this is how we can do suburb specific, because at the moment we've got one for Service Paradise, but if you remember, I want to target both Southport and I also want to target Main Beach. So I'm going to create 2 copies, the exact same one. I'm going to call the first one Main Beach, and I'm just going to quickly run through here, make sure everything's set up how we want it. And we go here, audience controls, remove that. And we can see Main Beach up here, drop pen, make that 1 kilometer, because I know Main Beach is a very small suburb, so that's probably fine. And then, so that's that ad set. I can go to my other ad set here and make this Southport. So that's my third area that I'm targeting. Again, go down here, delete it, find Southport on the map because I've already got it up here. I can drop a pin, drop on Southport, And let's see what 1 kilometer, is that big enough? Southport's quite large, so maybe I can even get away with like a 2 kilometer radius. Yeah, so maybe I would do a 2 kilometer. It goes slightly into Main Beach, but we don't mind if it targets Main Beach because it's one of our farm areas anyway, right? So there we go. The only thing we need to change here on these 2 ad sets is obviously we're gonna have to go in, duplicate these creatives and change the creatives, add the properties specific for that suburb in our template here, and obviously change all the text so it lines up with the specific suburb. So if that was Southport, I can do that. Obviously I'm not going to do that now, but that is all you need to do. The lead form is still going to be the same. We just need to make sure, and obviously we need to make sure you're changing the ad copy names to the specific suburb on inside of our ad copy that we've pasted in here as well. And yeah, that is how to set up a lead form campaign for a dynamic suburb report. Obviously this is the non-dynamic version. That is a bit outside the scope of this particular guide and this particular strategy. But this that I've got over here will get you started and just link it to any kind of suburb or report that you have for that specific suburb. And this works. It's another way of getting in more leads, getting more conversations with potential sellers. Moving on to strategy 4, which is our free value ebook campaigns. This is super similar to the instant report campaigns that we went over in LeadGen strategy 3 as part of this guide. Now, the difference is we're giving them an ebook on how they can increase the value of their home or provide or increase or make it more stress-free for them, the process of selling their home, or what that process looks like. That's pretty much the value that we're providing them in this strategy, but very similar because they're still getting that instantly downloadable resource, which is this ebook, this free ebook that we're giving them. So as I mentioned, the approach to setting up one of these in the ads manager is virtually identical to how we set up our suburb report campaign as mentioned in the strategy above. And so in this example, and the one that I'm actually going to give this to you, is our 7 simple hacks to increase your home's value ebook. Again, when we come in and work with our partners' businesses, we've got lots of different resources. We can create specific ones for that client, and everything when we work with people one-to-one. But this one that I'm going to give you is proven to work. It's a template that you can use out of the gate as well. And this strategy works really well, particularly if your goal as an agent is to become the market leader in your area, because realistically, the way to do that is to constantly be top of mind in your market and to be able to provide more value to prospective vendors than any other agent. So providing free resources without asking for anything immediately in return is going to do that in a hyper effective way. So we can then follow up with everyone who downloaded the instant ebook or guide, and we can find out what their motivation was to download the ebook and learn more about the market. And obviously that's going to lend itself to being able to get our foot in the door once we're following up on people that are getting this guide. And obviously the guide's very targeted to someone that is potentially in the market or potentially looking to sell or looking to sell in the future or playing around with the idea of selling their home, right? So again, similar to with the dynamic suburb reports, an automated delivery system as well as some kind of follow-up nurturing process is going to be used to further increase our return on our ad spend. So how much we're making back from the money we're spending on ads. So when running these ads, as with the suburb report campaigns, we really want to be making sure we have a delivery system to email the guide to them even after they're supposed to have downloaded it, to make sure they get it. It doesn't get lost after they just open it up in their browser by clicking the download button on that lead form. And following up a few times and getting additional buy-in from sending them different content we can do as well. In some cases, we can even use AI in our workflows to help us book more appointments and do back and forth without an agent even being involved. And again, that's outside of the scope of this guide, and that would take a lot of time to really go into. We can see an example here of an automated delivery and follow-up system for this 7 hacks ebook process, one that we set up for one of our clients. So for the ad setup, we can do pretty much identical to how we set up the other social media campaigns, or pretty much identical to how we're actually setting up our Suburb report campaigns. We're just using different ad copy here and different creative. So we've got our different creative here. We can go in here and we can, you can edit this template for the new design. So click that button. And then we've also got an ebook template that you can use. So we've got our ebook template, use template for new design. So basically giving you all the resources that you can use off the bat. So it's all linked in here, and the ad copy that we can actually use, and the same budget's going to apply as with the dynamic suburb report campaign. We recommend a minimum of $20 to $33 a day for best results, and the lead costs are going to depend on that market. We see around $5 to $30 per lead as well. So again, we're going to link that to the thank you page, and this is going to enable us to set up this campaign. So let's go through and set that up. Again, it's going to be pretty much the same. In fact, I'm actually going to go in here because this is our Suburb report campaign that we set up before. We can see we had on the campaign level. So obviously I'm just going to, so what I'm going to do to create this is I'm actually just going to duplicate it. So this is what you should do to make it easier and quicker for yourself setting up new campaigns. If you already have existing campaigns, is just duplicate. So yeah, number of copies 1, duplicate. So I just selected that duplicate button. Now here I'm just going to call it 7 hacks campaign. And I normally put the date just so I know when I launched it. So cool. Yep, got the daily budget. That's going to be the same. At least spending $1,000 a month, especially if I'm in a metropolitan area. But obviously depends on what KPIs we're seeing. Now from here, we can go to so obviously, we've got lead selected, campaign, budgets turned on, and we've got the budget inside of here on the campaign level. Then we're going to be able to move on to our ad set level. So we've got our ad set here. So it's Paradise, Main Beach, and Southport. These are the same areas that we want to target. So for here, on the ad set level, we've got this particular area. So we've got the specific suburb. I've named it that specific suburb. And it got instant forms. We've got the page selected, maximize number of leads, page selected, and if you can change the schedule however you want it. And then we've got our audience control with the location. So this is really the part we want to change when we're targeting for real estate specifically. We can see again, this is targeting Surfers Paradise. So we go in here, big drop in, put that on Surfers Paradise, and set so in this case, 1 kilometer pretty much covers most of Surfers Paradise. I'm going to keep it like that. Scroll down, Vantage Plus placements, and that's our ad set level. And we can do the same for our other suburbs. Again, just go through, search the particular suburb you want to target, and then we can actually drop a pin for that and set whatever radius we want. That's my way of setting up the ads in that sense. And generally, because I'm targeting Gold Coast, the audience sizes are pretty large as well. Generally, we want to get this, at least being a few thousand people. Obviously, we have no issue in terms of population size here. So that's going to work fine. And then we can do the same across our other ad sets. Obviously, I've just duplicated these. The audience level is going to be the same when we're duplicating. If we want to target the same areas and we want to segment it on a suburb level like I have here. So from here, we can just go through and just change the specific ads that we're running, right? So I'm just going to go Surfers, and I'm going to use our new template. So this is the template that we got here. Just going to duplicate that. And 7 hacks. I'm really just going to change this again to our branding, just to keep it simple so you can see what that looks like. And then I can change no, that's not what I want. I can change that. Change that image on the background. Delete. I just want to change the image on the background. So just make sure you select the correct thing, because you can see I'm just putting that just so I have something there. Again, you would really want to do this a bit better than I am. But yeah, basically, I'm just going to send that to back and then put that over the top. And there's our ebook. And obviously, yeah, you can do this slightly different, but this is the creative I'm using. And then I'm going to create a separate variation, slightly different colors again. And again, I'm not spending a huge amount of time on this. You really want to be doing it a little bit more sophisticated than what I'm doing. But this is just, you know, as an example. So I have two different variations here that I can use on the ads. And then go here, download these. So yeah, use those templates, download the new versions that you've created for yourself. And now we've got those creatives ready to go. We can now go in and we can plug this into our ads. Now, in this case, that it doesn't even say the specific suburb on it. You can customize these, so it says, you know, the suburb on it as well, and you make them suburb specific. These literally just say 7 hacks to increase your property's value. So I can pretty much use these variations on all of the ads. So I can delete that, add image. I'm going to upload those 2 new ones that I just created. All right, so in this case, I just brought up the Finder on my computer so I can find the ones that I just downloaded in downloads. So I've got them here. So I'm just going to drag them in, which you can do as well to upload creatives. And cool, now I can use my first one. And set to original on the crop. And cool, now we got that. And we're just going to change the ad copy as well. So I want to change, see how all of these have, so these ones here, I can just click on both of them together, change the ad copy. So I'm just going to go here. We're going to grab our ad copy that we use for this particular ad. Homeowners, cool. And then our increase your property value, and then 7 hacks to increase your property value in the description. We're just pasting them into there. We can keep learn more call to action. You can also use the download call to action. That's totally up to you. And then we can change our lead form. I'm going to change the lead form for all of them, so I'm going to come back and do that because I'll need to duplicate that because they all have pretty much the same one. But I obviously have only done that for there, so I'm going to have to go in there. Actually, I might do this here. If I can change, you can also edit each ad. In this case, I'm going to delete that. So I've highlighted these add tos because they're all going to be the orange one. And I just want to do it quicker. So this is why I'm just using the tools available to me to do so. So I've gone there. These are all orange. I'll make this one the blue one. Original. Done. And then again, make these. I'm going to go here. So I need to change that ad copy for all of those ads, the remaining ads as well. Grab the headline. I'm just copy and paste this from the Surfers one because it's very similar. That didn't copy. Yeah, that's better. Then we we've got our description here. Change the description. And now all we need to do on these is I'm just going to highlight the main beach ones, and I'm just going to change the name, the suburb, because we just copied that. We just copied and pasted it across and duplicated multiple at a time just by holding. I just hold the command key. You can use the control key if you're on PC as well. And we can see now that's saying main beach on it. And then for here, I'm just going to change this to South Port. Because again, the creative's the same. It still says 7 hacks, so we don't need to make that since those creatives aren't suburb specific. And now I've created all my ads like that. That's really as fast as it can be done, especially when we have existing campaigns that we've used in the past with similar targeting, similar features. We just sub out a few things and we can go from there. Now I'm going to select all my ads. So we can now create the form for this ad. So I'm going to copy this from our suburb report form that we already had from before. And I'm going to call this our 7 hacks ebook form. More volume, that's correct. We can skip the intro, go to the questions. How soon are you looking to sell? So set up a multiple choice question here, multiple choice in the custom questions. How soon are you looking to sell as the question with answers now, 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, 12 months plus, just curious. And then we can, and again, you don't have to have the custom form question. Sometimes you don't need the time frame. If you want to get more leads, you can just omit that completely. But I'm going to have it there, and then I'm just going to say, fill in your details to get access to the 7 hacks guide to or fill in your details and we'll send you the guide and we'll shoot you over the guide. So this is where if you have like email and SMS on the back end that actually emails them or text messages them a link to the guide after they complete the form, as well as having it on the thank you page of the form. This is super valuable, and you'll get higher conversions too, and people that would just respond back to the emails and the text messages. But again, outside the scope of this, so I'm just going to go through that. Make sure you select your pre-fill questions, full name, street address, email, phone number. So obviously we can add that in here in the contact fields. You'll be able to find them in the categories there. Privacy policy, link that to the privacy policy on your website, paste it in there. Just call the link text privacy policy. And then we get to the actual thank you page, which we can see here. Thanks, you're here. I'm just going to, thanks, you're all set. So you can say that for the headline, description. Just click download to get your instant copy today. So that's going to be pretty much exactly the same. And then we can actually link in our report. So obviously I've got my report here, so I can just go in here. I can edit this how I want it, change the company name. So you can go in there, change all the coloring, however you like, if you really want to customize this. And then link this. This is actually a custom link. So you just change the link here and make it link to, if you have a get a calendar page on your website or get your property worth opt-in form on your website, then you can link that in the ebook, and then they can actually click on that link in the ebook on the computer and it's going to take them there, right? So that's super cool. But I'm just going to go here. I'm just going to download this as a standard PDF. Obviously I haven't actually edited it, but you can go through, make whatever adjustments you want with that template, because these templates are just here. You can use them. I'm giving them to you. So here, download, call to action test, that will still be the same. And then I'm going to import that 7 simple. Yeah, so then I need to find it, 7 simple. All right, so I think one of these, yeah, so this is it here, the one that I just created, right? So I'm just going to import that, create form. There's my new form, and now this ad's ready to publish. Make sure you just go through double check, make sure this is all set up correctly. You've got the targeting correct. You're not targeting all of Australia or something like that, or all of your country. And that is how to set up one of these ebook campaigns. Obviously, you can use any ebook that you want and just link it on the form. Just the creative's going to have to change. You can play around with the creatives, get a designer in, whatever you want to do. But we know this creative here does convert. It's a direct response creative, so it works. But yeah, that is how to set up the fourth strategy here with the ebook campaigns, and hopefully that all makes sense. And I will see you in the next video on the next strategy. Now, lead gen strategy 5 is just sold ads. Now, this strategy is a little bit different from some of the other more direct strategies where we have people inquiring directly for appraisals, price updates. We've got people opting in for an instant suburb report or instant neighborhood report, or getting access to an ebook that shows them how to increase the value of their property if they are looking to sell. These are very direct response ads that we're running in some of those other strategies. Whereas just sold is, whilst it can attract people that are potentially looking to sell, or maybe want to see what other things near them are selling for so they can get a bit of a gauge for their own property, of course there's a bit of an awareness type of element to it as well. So whilst most agents are running some sort of just sold ad for the properties once they do sell, although a lot of times these are just boosted posts and they're not getting a huge amount of traction on them. So it's important that we advertise these the right way, and we aren't just boosting them like basic posts, putting a few dollars on them. There's no real targeting behind it. We really want to be able to set these up in a way that's going to help us attract more motivated sellers and enable us to generate new contacts for our database. However, we do need to understand that whenever we actually use a just listed or a just sold ad, we are going to inevitably also attract buyers and renters and people that are just generally interested in real estate or what type of home in that area has sold for, as that is the messaging that is used on a just sold ads. Obviously, we're putting out a just sold property, so anyone that has any interest in that property can be attracted to this. But if we are able to set these up the right way, we should be getting some inquiries for prospective vendors as well. So how do we set these up? So like in lead gen strategy number 1, we can set these up the same way by working our way through that campaign level, ad set level, and ad level. And once we get to the ad set level, generally when we're setting up the targeting for these, we can actually target more of a wider market to bring in anyone in the vicinity that might be interested in seeing what a property in that specific nearby area sold for. So for example, a house that sold in Blacktown in Sydney, we might advertise to a 3 to 5 kilometre radius of Blacktown to that whole part of Western Sydney, for instance. So we can see here, we were marketing a property sold in Clover Park and we targeted a 3 kilometre radius of Clover Park and the surrounding suburbs, right? So that's just because that was the catchment area that client wanted to actually find potential buyers and potential, people that were interested. So this was for someone, they listed the property and they sold it. So people that were interested in property kind of around that area, right? We can do a little bit wider when we're running just listed, just sold, but that depends how targeted you want to be. We can still make it as targeted as those other ads as well. So to set it up, what we want to do is we want to actually use images or videos of the property from your website or realestate.com.au page, or whatever equivalent you have in your country. That could be TradeMe, that could be another platform. And we want to select the carousel option so we can actually add multiple images that a user can scroll across when they're actually targeted by our ad. So let's go in and we're actually going to go through the setup of one of these. So again, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to go back to my account here, and I'm actually just going to kind of duplicate one of the other campaigns I've got just to make this easier. So I'm just duplicating one of my existing campaigns here, And we're going to set this up pretty much similar to how we've created some of the other ads in the other videos in this series, but I'm just going to call this just sold. And then I'm going to put the name of the property. So that could be 35 middle lane. And then I'm going to just say the date, 22nd of whatever the date is, right? I'm going to plug that in. So that's not actually the date, but I've just put that in. And then we're going to go through, and with these, we can set them up probably just with a basic lead form is going to be the easiest way. So we can just select leads here, because obviously our goal is still to be able to bring in additional leads. Generally, in terms of budget, I'm setting like a lifetime budget. So I'll normally go lifetime budget, how much. So normally these can be, we're putting a lifetime budget, run them over say 7 to 10 days. In this case, let's say I'm spending a budget of $300 for that specific property. And that's what I want to budget for that specific property. So I'm saying $300 lifetime budget. I'm using that function here. And let me go here. Yep, so there. Move on next, and we can obviously set our schedule for how long we want it to run for. This is running for a month. That's a bit long. I'll probably set this at about a week. So let's say I'm running it for about a week. And now, it's spending a bit more of a reasonable amount of money each day. And generally, like you can do it on a suburb level. Generally, I'll kind of go primary markets and then just set a broader radius around where the property is based. So let's say middle lane is in Service Paradise, just to keep on that kind of trend. So this should be all set up the same as how we did it before with some of our other ads. So we've got our page, we've got all of this stuff. We've got I'm going to go down, audience controls. We can see here before we had pinpointed, we used the drop pin function. We've pinpointed the area that we're targeting. So here was main beach. So let's say that we're doing it in Surfers. Again, I'm going to just bring up Surfers Paradise, Queensland. Comes up with neighborhood. I'm just going to drop the pin or somewhere close. Remove that. And before, when I was doing it, because I wanted it pretty much just to focus on just that suburb, I was doing like a 1 kilometer radius. For just sold, sometimes I'll make it a bit broader. So I do like, not 33, but maybe 3 kilometers. And this is the same as if you're running a just listed, but obviously a just sold can bring in more prospective vendors. So I'm going here, setting like 3 kilometers, and then it's going out to bundle main beach, broad beach here, as we can see. And so that's kind of how I've set up the targeting there. We can see that's how we've done it in here as well. And then we actually go through to the actual ads level. And now I can change all the images and make it how I want it. So I've got a couple ad templates here that we can use for a just sold ad. So this is the primary text. I'm going to replace our primary text here. Just sold under offer in Surfers Paradise. I'm just gonna, so then we put in how many beds. So let's say three beds, 2 baths, 1 car. And then a lot of the time I'll just get like, if I go to realestate.com here, you see buy. So just because I want to show you how I'd go about, so let's say this is my listing. Yeah, and then I might just take that, nestled on a quaint private rear, whilst in a sense of privacy. Or if you have a creative flair, and this one has great renovated, whatever segment from it, I'll normally take it from there. The best bit, or sometimes change it a little bit. If you have creative flair, repair to roll up your sleeves, or sometimes it could be related to the actual sale. Like if we go to one that actually sold. So these are like the listed ones. Let's go sold. Sold properties, let's go any of these, just because I want to see. So this is a sold property. Poised on a, yeah, so I'm just going to take this, right, plug it into here. Sold for a street record. So we just go to the listing, take that from it. The best bit, poised on this block. This family cottage sold for a street record. Click learn more to find the final sale price and full details. Yeah. Let me go back. Not sure what happened there. Let me reload. Okay, perfect. So we can see, yeah, we can see here, just sold under offer. So it could be either just sold, so let's say just sold. Move that. In Service Paradise, sold for a street record. Then we'll plug in our headline that we got here. And again, you can tweak this a little bit, but this just says 3 bedrooms in Surfers Paradise. Then the description. So more details about kind of the property itself and what it's. So you could even say, find out what it's sold for and have that as like a hook. So in this case, this is a little bit different. But yeah, if you wanted it to pop, you could say something like that as well here. But for this, I'm just saying, just sold in Surfers Paradise. 3 bedroom. And then I'm going to take classic family cottage. So then we've got our ad copy that we're using here. Learn more, call to action, learn more, and then we can just add our media for the property itself. So I would actually set this up as a carousel. So we can see here, do as a carousel, and then we can just add all the different pictures of the property to our carousel basically. And then you can have optimizations, automatically show best performing cards first, add music. I'll probably turn these off just so I have a little bit more control, and then I'll be able to actually add the cards. So I can go in there, I can add all the different pictures of the property. So let's say that it is this property here, and these are all my pictures. I can obviously save those images. Save. Home one. Again, I'm not actually creating this, but I might just take pictures of the actual house. Cool. I'll go back. I'm going to upload those. So basically, you can just take them for your listing pages. Maybe you've got a video, you can put that on the carousel as well. If you've got like a really nice video of the home, so people can just scroll across and have a look at those different images. Home. Main home one. So here. I'm going to upload another photo just so you can see how this works. I think that was called image 3. Cool. So we've got 2 for this house. Yep, so we're just going to upload this first one to that card. Okay, so, but yeah, because we're doing it on separate cards, we actually have to apply this add copy to each of the cards individually. So we can just kind of make them all the same, but 3 bedrooms in Surfers Paradise. And then the description. Just sold in this Paradise. 3 bed classic family cottage. So got that there. We put on the add preview. Add cards, add image card, and we'll add this next one in. Then for the second image, we can click on this one. And I'm literally just going to copy and paste that across to our next one here. So I'm going to you have to click on it. You have to click on it to edit it. So I'm going to go there, back up here, and take the description from that so I can use it on the second card in our carousel. Perfect. And then we got our ad set up here. We can see it on the side in our preview. We can scroll across and go to the next one, has all of the same components on each of the cards. And you can have video, you can have images. We can see when I go add cards, it's image card or video card. So there's a little bit of flexibility that you can do around that. We can also change the order of that. What I'd normally do is I'll make maybe add one as a variation with this, and then add 2, I might change the order. So I have 2 different variants and I can see which ad actually performs better, right? So that's how that works. Now that we've got that set up, we want to set up our actual lead form. So we want to set up that lead form so we can actually collect the info from people from the leads and see obviously what status that person is or what type of person they are. So we want to have at least minimum full name, email, and phone numbers with the pre-filled questions. So let's say I'm going here. I'm going to create a form and I'm going to call this just sold. More volume, that's correct. Normally get rid of the greeting, so delete the greeting, go to the, just don't worry about the intro, and then I'll move on to our pre-fill questions. Custom question, pre-fill question, I'm going to start with the pre-fill question. So I'm going to say, same as on here, get all the details and price on. So get all the details and price on 35 Middle Lane, which is our property. By filling your info below, and we'll send you all, we'll send it over. Something like that. So then we're going to have full name, move that to the top, email, and phone number. You can also have a street address if you want to know where they live. But since this is a just sold, not really necessary because it's not like their home's getting appraised or anything like that. So we're just going to ask that. And then I'm going to have a custom question if we want to filter the leads to identify which are kind of potential sellers, like something like, are you a homeowner in South Auckland? Or in this case, are you a homeowner in Gold Coast or in the northern Gold Coast? So we really want to be identifying the ones inquiring on the property that are owners in our service areas. But yeah, this is pretty much the basic setup that's going to allow us to start promoting just sold properties in the right way. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to add in that custom question. So click multiple choice. Are you a homeowner in the Gold Coast? And then I'm going to say yes, no. And then when the leads come in, we're going to be able to see, okay, that one's a homeowner, that one's not. He might just be a buyer or interested in other properties, etc., etc. and we can go from there. We've got that in there, and then we can add our privacy policy. So just put link text, privacy policy, paste the privacy policy off the website. So I'm just going to go to ours to put that in. Privacy policy. We'll put that in there. Privacy policy, and then thank you page or message for leads. Then you can property by clicking the blue button below, and then view website. I can put the link to that realestate.com. Property, so let's say this is my property. I can link it to wherever I want on the website, and then say, details, or get all the dates. Or learn the price. So you can take that angle, then we can go create form, and now we're generating leads from just sold campaign, and we run both of these from the same form, so just make sure they're both on the same form. I would delete these other ad sets because I don't need them. So I'll just go here and I'll just delete 2 and then just run this one, publish that. And now we're getting leads coming through from just sold campaigns as well. And you can even do similar things for your just listed and just create a similar lead form. And a lot of the time that's going to be vendor paid. So you're basically getting vendors to fund your own acquisition as well, whilst promoting their property in the right way. So hopefully that makes sense, and we can dive into the next strategy. Now for the last 2 strategies in this guide and course that I'm giving away, I'm just going to group them together for the last video because they are quite similar. We're just utilizing different channels to essentially do a reactivation or to engage people that have already engaged with us in the past and trying to get them to come and engage with us again. So maybe they were super cold, haven't spoken to us in a while, and now we're messaging them, they're responding back, and we're pretty much a fresh lead in our pipeline again because we've re-engaged them, and we probably wouldn't have been able to engage them before. So this is a way of being able to engage a lot of people all at the one time and have the people that are actually interested kind of come back to us. It is a volume play, any kind of reactivation. We want to be able to make sure we have enough people in our database coming in from the other strategies that we've gone over in the first place. But then once we have enough people in that database, once a quarter we can do a database reactivation and send a message or a sequence of messages over a defined period of time to maybe a whole bunch of old leads that aren't responding to us anymore, warm them up, get them in our pipeline again, and re-engage them again and bring them back into our sales process, right? So that's why I'm going to batch these together. So lead generation 6 is the database reactivation campaigns. So really, and this is kind of like, these strategies are kind of like the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to lead generation strategies, especially if you already have a database in place. If you don't have a lot of contacts, then you need to focus on the other lead gen strategies. But if you've already got some kind of database and they've opted in and they have, you have the ability to actually message them and it's legal for you to message them and market to them, then we really want to be using this. And because really this costs very little money and can get us almost instant results if we have enough people in that database, and we can just have even one person that engages, that lists with us, makes this all worth it, right? So a reactivation campaign, we're basically putting in front a new marketing message in front of that existing leads and database in order to revive engagement and re-spark conversations with leads that had gone cold previously. So the simplest form of reactivation is to send a text message blast or a sequence of texts and emails over a few days to our list of old prospects. We can see this is one that we built out for one of our private clients, again, out of the scope of this guide. So what I've given you here instead is a basic 2-step text template that you can use on your emails, and you can start using this to book appraisals, book CMAs with the leads you already have in your database. So you can either use a bulk SMS software to send them in batches, or you can even just manually send them on your phone and just go through your contacts. If you're super old school, that's going to be very time consuming if you have a big enough database, but you can do that. And we do it off our own marketing platform that we use internally. So our own version of Go High Level, if you work with us, we would set you up with this so we can set up all of this stuff. But basically our first SMS that we send out to the leads is, hey, is this John? I want to make sure I still have the right number. So we're going to get their initial response, get them engaged. And then as soon as they respond, we can send them, hey, name, this is Aidan from Jefferson Realty, was just reaching out to see if you were interested in getting a no strings attached home appraisal and market report. So this is like super basic, but you're going to be surprised. We are going to get people that want this, especially if we're sending it out to enough people. And it's super, we're not going to get in any trouble from sending and actually offering them something of value. And from there, once we get what we call a positive reply, they're responding back to us positively. Yes, I'm interested. Call them straight away, and set up an in-person meeting to do that appraisal, or give them access to, maybe they refuse to have it in person or they want a virtual one first. That's fine. We just need to know how to work the pipeline accordingly. And again, we don't want to go to the effort of re-engaging them for them to go cold again. So don't think, just call. So that's the first part of this. In our system, I'll show you how we do that. Yeah, so the way I would normally do this is I can actually run it directly out of like the contacts within our system, and depending on the where you're running it. So let's say these are all my contacts, all these joke blogs, these are all my leads that I want to reactivate. I can select them, and this is a really basic way to do it. How we would do it, we'll just select the contacts that we have, and then we can just select SMS. If we just want to send that singular SMS, go proceed, type in that message. I can literally copy and paste it from here, paste it in and send. We can send it in drip mode, obviously fill in the name from the template, etc. Now, the better way is actually adding it to an automation. So you have a multiple sequence that you're adding them to. Again, a little bit outside the scope, but you could obviously set it so once they respond to this, it automatically sends this. And there's ways to do that with marketing automation. So that's how this works with database reactivation via SMS. Via email works the same way. So that's that. The LeadGen Strategy 7 is very similar, but instead we're using what we call a sponsored message. So we're basically sending a message to everyone that's contacted us before on Messenger. So sometimes with our clients, we'll use a lot of messenger marketing. So we'll send a lot of people directly to a chatbot to engage them via conversation. And they'll start that conversation and basically become a subscriber to our page and opted in for our page just to communicate with them and market to them over Messenger as well, which is super cool. And it means once we have enough people to subscribe, because we can start lots and lots of conversations with people, a conversation could cost us $2 to $8. And for all of those people that we're getting in and start conversations, we could do a sponsored message to once a quarter. Once we've built up our database of at least kind of 500 contacts, this is worth doing. And this, basically we do the reactivation in the same way on this strategy, but we're doing it from our Facebook page and directly to all of those people from that page. So we just send a message out to all of them, and Facebook calls this, or Meta calls this, a sponsored message. And these are extremely cheap. Like, we can reach thousands of people on Facebook for as low as $20. And yeah, as I mentioned, we just probably need about 500 Facebook subscribers to do this, or people who started conversations to do this. An advanced version. So this is what we do for some of our clients on a more quarterly basis. We'll have entire chatbot sequences built out to actually do this, and use tools like ManyChat, even AI these days. We can implement that with Messenger as well. But again, that's a little bit complicated. We can see one here and how that works. As an example, so they go through, we send them this. This is for a free report. It's gone through, said, hey, it's completely free, get access to this report. They click free report, and then it says, cool, just click the suburb below to get you access to your market report. So this has a full chat flow on the back end for this example, so I'm not going to go into that, but this is a custom flow that we built for one of our one-to-one private clients. But basically this is really basic. That's the text message template that you can use for this when we're setting this up. And I've got the whole, and we can go through exactly how to set this up on the ads platform because we do it the same. So this is one that we actually created for one of our clients. I'm obviously just going to blur his details here, but I've just called this sponsored message for Q1. Obviously we can put the date on there as well for the campaign name. We need to go through and how we set this up. Auction engagement. So obviously we're going in there, we select new campaign, we've got selected engagement, manual engagement. So that's how we got to here where we got engagement. And then we're obviously, this is how I would name it. That's my naming convention. You can use that and then scroll down, click next. And this is going to take us to the ad set level. So if we go to our ad set level here, so we've got our ad set level here, we can, we can obviously name our ad set whatever we want, and then we can just select messaging apps. So we want to select messaging apps, go down, select the appropriate page that's linked to, and then the ad type selected should be sponsored message. So messaging app, you'll see here, selected messenger. This ad type should say sponsored message, so make sure you select sponsored message on the ad type. It's selected as the right page. Bid control. So again, we obviously want to make sure it spends. So I just put $50 in here to make sure it spend would work for this particular client. And then I've got a lifetime budget. What's the most I'm willing to spend? This was like $300 over the lifetime. And I think it didn't spend anywhere near that. Yeah, so this didn't even spend the total budget, but we go back into this. Back into this, we obviously set the bid control, lifetime budget, start date, end date, just set that. So we want to select our start date, end date, select the page. As we can see, I show you all of this inside of the guide, and then we can set up our audience. We don't really even need the location here because we're going to use a custom audience where we basically select people that have engaged with our page in the past, or and I'm going to show you how to do this. So we scroll down, and really this is where we get to our audience control. So in this case, I'm actually going to, well, here we've just done all of Australia, so we're not getting people like that just aren't even in the country at all. So obviously you can set a location parameter if you want, but generally if you've got the right people engaging with your page or your ads have been targeted to the right people, you're not going to have too much of an issue. So where it says Advantage Plus Audience, this is where we're going to add in our custom audience. So we're going to go create new custom audience, and now we can select the Facebook page. So I believe, so it should be custom audience, Facebook page, and from here it's going to take you to setting up that custom audience. So obviously we can select the page name, everyone who's engaged with your page. It's what I've selected here in the last 365 days. So we can do create audience. Or you can do account center accounts who send a message to your page in 365 days. So we can obviously go in there and create an audience around that and then publish that. And then we're going to be able to run it. Age range, obviously I like to keep it pretty broad in general, as we can see here. And now the ad set level. Yeah, now we can go next. That's going to take us to our ad level, and now we can actually create our actual ad. So you can go through, write the initial message. If you want an image, so in this one we've got an image here for the instant suburb report. In this case, we can use the copy that I've obviously provided in this example. So, hey, it's been a while. Just providing appraisals are curious. So it's been a while. So that's how I do that. So yes, please would be the button. So I'm going to cut that out and delete that. So I'll send you one while we're at it, which is your home worth free. So something like that. Obviously, you have the appropriate image if you want to do an image, and then the quick reply would be, in this case, yes, please. So that's the button or the quick reply. So selecting the ad, and now when everyone hits that quick reply, it goes through to you. If you have a chatbot set up and you're using a software like ManyChat, you can have this go to a custom flow that has a multiple sequence, which is what we do. But again, this is just a really basic overview of how to kind of set that up, right? And then, so the connect your bot, you'll see it says connect your bot. You can leave that unless you have the ability or technical know-how to be able to link it to a chatbot. And then we can publish it. And we've got a sponsored message that can go out and re-engage our database. And that is the last, that is strategy 6, strategy 7. That's going to be for your kind of existing database, re-engaging those people again. Hopefully that all makes sense, and hopefully you got a lot of value out of that. So that is the entire guide that we've kind of gone over across everything. Really, to wrap things up for you watching this, as you can see, there are ample ways to generate more leads for your real estate business. And really, we just need the know-how, the right strategy, the right setup. I definitely recommend, if you want to, get the most out of this, you're going to need to rewatch specific components of this training and understand how to set it up and make adjustments and all of that stuff. So watch it, rewatch it, use it as a guide that you're constantly using. And I hope you got a lot of value out of this. I really enjoyed putting it together. But whilst I tried to cover a lot in this guide, the truth is that, like an iceberg, in order to make lead generation super efficient and profitable, it does require many elements that aren't easily visible and are often below the surface. So this is why you can copy and paste someone else's strategies and not have the same results. And those things can include the scripting, the dialogues, follow-up, nurture processes, all of this happening under the surface, the automation sequences, retargeting strategies, ad copy, and creative cycling, the way they're cycling their creative materials, and even implementation of cutting-edge AI automations that work on the back end to book appointments automatically. This isn't even taking into account the differences in performance and variations in what works from one market to another, nor the skill level of the particular agents dealing with the leads. So whilst I have no doubt that if you seriously follow at least one of the strategies in this guide, you can start building out your pipeline and getting more results in your real estate business. However, this guide does just touch on the core elements that sit above the surface that can get you started to get some immediate results and improve your lead flow today. However, the biggest issues that is going to happen after that point, once you've got those initial leads and you've used some of these strategies, that you will run into after maybe you have those success in the first 14 days to 60 days, depending on kind of market you're in, how saturated it is. Big cities are going to be more saturated. You're probably going to find the following. So the first thing is increasing lead costs as your ads start to max out your audience, which results in less leads and ads that dry up over time. You might find lead quality getting worse the longer you run the ads as you start to reach more of your target market. You might find results becoming less and less consistent over time, or maybe you won't know what to say when the leads come once you actually get them, and you're finding that you're getting low appointment booking rates and overall conversion rates because you're not sure exactly the right way to deal with the leads when they're actually coming in. Or maybe you just can't keep up with the lead flow due to not having any automated systems in place, or not the right ones. Maybe you're just using what your agency or brokerage has given you, and you don't have the right things in place to nurture specific leads based on their timeframes or the status of that particular person, right? And maybe you find that other agents start copying you and the results drop off as you get commoditized. So if you do ever run into these problems, and trust me when I say, if you run ads for long enough, if you implement these strategies for long enough, it's going to happen, and you will need to learn and test strategies to deal with these things when they arise, how to optimize, make changes, keep consistency. And this is the hardest thing in this business. So now, if instead you just want a completely hands-off system that runs predictably and consistently month on month, year on year, that's managed by a team of the best real estate marketers in the country, responsible for hundreds of millions in listings across Australia, New Zealand, US, and Canada in the last year alone, then read the below closely. So our team helps our clients focus on what they're best at, which is selling homes, whilst taking care of all the marketing, lead generation, and tech, so they can just focus on more conversations, appraisals, listing appointments, and ultimately get more listings. We even implement a video we call the authority clip that no one else is using to consistently improve our lead quality of the leads coming through. So if you're a residential real estate agent, maybe you run an EBU or a team, or you're a real estate agency owner and you did at least 200K in GCI in the last 12 months, and you want a team that can run and take care of this whole process for you, then please book a call to get us to implement our entire lead generation systems and manage the whole thing so you can get in more doors on a weekly basis and grow your GCI. And you'll be able to click a link to book a call here, check out exactly how that process works. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the other side. Hopefully you got value from this guide. If there's any other content you want to see, then comment down below and I'll be able to have a look at the types of content we can make and provide more value to you guys moving forward as well.